Same thing we talk about every Monday, how to take over the world, right? Were you a Pinky and the Brain fan?
Oh, I loved animation. That's the '90s generation for sure.
I don't understand because I was watching that in college. I'm not going to make any excuses. I watched it in college,
Oh, it was a great show.
and we cracked up.
Oh
You know
my
that.
gosh, we're like officially live. When did we start?
Oh, I just started a little bit ago.
Okay, so all the drip knows we're talking about Animaniacs, or
That's right. Everybody knows that I'm a Pinky and the Brain fan.
my favorite sketch off of that was actually like the what were they? The pigeons.
Oh
There
my
was like
God,
the
they were
small
so funny.
pigeon that had a
Yeah,
complex, and then there was like the goofy chubby pigeon, and the "you talking to me? No, you talking to me? All
looking in the
right,
mirror, that
that's
was
it." And
awesome.
then they would all like,
Good times.
yeah, that was
Good
my
times.
favorite. Speaking of the '90s, I this actually is going to go out to like parents. So, okay, here's the scenario: you're 10 years old and your buddy says, "Hey, come over for a sleepover," and you ask your mom and dad, and you go for the sleepover. Mom and dad go out for a little bit, and you get to like watch whatever you want on TV. Like pizza's going to show up. It's going to be awesome. Does any of that sound weird? Like the parents leaving the premises?
How old are the kids? I guess,
And
because
I'll say 10.
oh, I missed that. No, not at all. I was left at home when I was 10.
So, funny story. I was talking with another parent, and that exact scenario happened. And he's like, I just felt kind of weird that the parents weren't at home the whole time. And I was like, man, oh, that person was my brother. I was like, man,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
pretty sure that when we were that age, our parents would like go out and do whatever and like come back. And it's just been really interesting with this coronavirus and kids doing school at home and like people having to go work. Like this is '90s parenting again, right?
It
Like
is. It
you got
is.
to
I
do that
was.
homeschool and get on Zoom on time. And you know, would
That's it.
I would I feel safe here in Dripping Springs, Texas, to leave my 10-year-old at home with his buddy unattended while I ran into town to do something? I kind of would, but that's just because I live in Dripping Springs, and that's why
Yeah.
I moved here, so I'd feel safe.
Right. I get it. I was just talking about that yesterday. Who was I talking about it with? It may have been with Chris and Gina yesterday, where my summers were just dad would leave in the morning, mom would leave in the morning. I would have chores to do,
Mhm.
and I can remember. I mean, I don't. What grade are you in, or what? How old are you in third grade? 8 or 9?
9. Yeah, you turned
Yeah.
9 in 3rd grade.
Yeah, so I remember, being at home and doing chores and actually not getting them all done, running down to the creek. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Chris and Gina. I was talking about it with Brandon Drano. I remember going out to the creek, and I spent all day at the creek fishing and swimming and shooting birds and snakes and turtles, and I just how I grew up.
Yeah, not an adult in sight.
No,
I had a similar rule in I had a handful of chores. So we had a septic system, so we didn't have a garbage disposal. I also didn't grow up with a dishwasher. So you guys, I roughed it. Um,
you had dishwashers. You had two of them.
yeah. So I had to take out the compost. That was one of my jobs. I had to put away the dishes that were in the strainer. Mom didn't really like me washing dishes because I did a really bad job when I was younger. And I don't know if I did it on purpose or not. I'm not going to commit to anything, but I really, even still, I hate washing dishes as an adult. And my job was to put away the folded laundry. Guess what? I have the hardest time doing in my house. I'll
Folding
wash the
laundry.
laundry, fold the laundry. I'll put it. It ends up, where you fold laundry, and it'll just sit there. So I'm still not real good at doing my chores. But I tell you what, we lived in the middle of nowhere, so I could hear my dad's truck coming down the road. And when I heard that truck, it was, oh crap, go, go, go.
That's awesome.
And I don't know if children today have that kind of fear.
Not unless they're tracking mom and dad on their phone app or something. They're a mile away.
Go,
Um,
go, go.
maybe maybe we should tell people what we're doing here.
Well, I think we're just talking about childhood and growing up, but this is episode 13 of the weekly drip. So I'm
Lucky
Ashley
13.
Tullis. Yes, lucky 13. I'm Ashley Tullis. I'm a real estate here in Dripping Springs. And this is Chris Pesek, my partner in crime. He's a broker associate over at Jackson Properties. And we get together once a week and we chit chat like we normally do in our regular life, all about the things happening around town. And we just thought, hey, let's share that with our community and get some engagement and interaction going, like what's going on that we don't know about. And hey, by the way, I heard, fill in the blank. That's what we're going to bring to you every single week, 2:00 on Mondays.
Every week. And by the way, if you are watching and you hear something or you've got a question, feel free to comment, throw it in the comments because we can see them. And yeah, if we don't have an answer for you right now, we'll get with our secret weapon, Denise Schrader, and she'll give us the answer because Denise is usually watching. I shouldn't say that out loud because maybe her boss is watching too. I don't know. Denise is not watching. Oh. So how was your weekend, Miss Ashley?
My weekend was good. So I grew up not that far from Dripping Springs. I grew up in Burnett, Texas, which is about an hour and 15 minutes away. And with coronavirus, everybody canceled everything, and every small town has a big old festival, right? So their festival in April was canceled, which meant the annual Destruction Derby was canceled.
Oh.
So over the weekend, I went back home and I took my son. It was not his first Destruction Derby. That's how really I am. But we went there and met up with some friends, and we watched cars smash into each other, and it was a blast. And oh my gosh, this weather! I think fall might be here.
It's pretty nice. It's a little warm today, but I guess that cold front's hanging out. I don't know. Did it get to your house? It's not here.
Oh, I haven't been out in a bit to check on it,
It's
but
a little warm.
when I took the truck out, it was kind of warm as well.
Oh, that truck. Y'all, if y'all don't know, Ashley just bought a green 1972
73.
Ford. Oh, 73. Dang it.
Keep going.
Ford F-350, and it is stellar. It's beautiful. It's avocado green. It's amazing.
Thanks. I'm really, really excited. And I haven't personally posted about it or said anything about it on social.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. My husband now to be on Instagram. Chris, you guys, does this really fun post every Friday. It's called Flex Friday, and that's your opportunity to shamelessly brag about yourself. And it's not often somebody says, Ashley, what do you have to brag about? So I take him up on his Flex Friday every week, and for 3 weeks running, I've been bragging about my 1973 Ford. His name is Booger.
Booger. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
That's how we do, right? You gotta name vehicles.
Absolutely. especially when they're older than I am. They have to have names.
Yeah, I agree. I like that rule.
Booger is only 47, but by God, Booger's a year older than I am. So.
Oh man, and Booger is a lively little thing. I tell you what. So I'm super excited to finally have my old truck. I have an eye for certain things on the highway. And my husband will tell you, for as long as we've been together, which is over 16 years now, if I see an old Ford coming at me, I can spot an old Ford. I don't see Chevys. I don't see GMCs. I'll see a Dodge Ram because those old ones are so huge.
Oh, they got a giant front.
Yeah, you can't help but see it. But man, there's something about an old Ford that I've always loved. And I bought it from a shop here in Dripping Springs, so I feel like I bought it locally. So it's a dripping truck. So I'm excited.
It was at a local shop. Do you know if it was owned locally prior to that, or did they find it somewhere at auction?
It was not an auction. They bought it in Central Texas several months back. And it was the shop truck for a hot rod shop in town called Rex Rods. Nice. Keith Tardell is the owner, and I met Keith, gosh, I think it'd been a year and a half ago, and I've been around some hot rods and stuff, but I had no idea the clout that he and his family come from. So, I'm talking to him like I talk to you and everybody else, and And then I start looking into it, like who he is, what his shop does, because they were working on a really special project for a guy here in town. And I was like, holy crap, this guy knows what's up. So when I went to test drive it, my husband didn't even go with me because he's like, if you like it, do it. Because we know that like mechanically it's sounding awesome. And I'm just burning up all over town. I'm having a blast.
That's awesome. And I just linked their Facebook page. I'd never even heard of them, so that's pretty crazy. X rods.
Yeah. So they're just located outside of town. They're gonna deal with more of like your traditional builds, like old stuff,
Yeah.
like pre-70s stuff. But you gotta haul all that stuff around, right? And they're out there by like Martin Brothers, and like there's some really cool folks all joined up together.
People don't realize how just Dripping Springs in general is a cool vehicle town, like a car town. I mean, you see them just like you're saying, old '60s and '70s trucks are all around. I see old cars all the time, and then you come up. I don't know if it was this past weekend or the weekend before, but no, it was this past weekend. There's a string of like 18 Corvettes driving through downtown, a couple of Lotus with them. McLarens. We see McLarens and Lamborghinis out here all the time. Like from old to new, this place is a car town. It's really cool. I dig it.
Do you know why?
I have no idea.
Because it's freaking God's country, dude.
Well, fair. Okay. I should have known that. I should have known that
one. So history was made in Dripping Springs over the weekend. Do you know what? Yeah.
I don't.
So Tejas Hemp had their very first harvest. And this
sweet.
is like groundbreaking.
That's awesome, Haley.
Industry. And so Aaron, the owner of Tejas Hemp, I had a conversation with him, and man, we're just gonna have to like let him speak for the product, because there's a lot of nuances that I just don't understand, and I bet a lot of people don't either. Yeah. But I tell you what, when I'm driving down Ranch Road 12, I'm like, that looks like marijuana.
It does. I was thinking the same thing when I drove by on Friday. Now I thought, so I don't know Aaron. It does Haley. Is it Haley Hunt? Does she have some interest in that as well, or is that two different companies?
So what they do out at Tejas Hemp is they provide the product that goes into your CBD stores, which is what Haley and Christy have at Trulevia on Old Fitzhugh here in town. And his concern out at Tejas Hemp is not quantity, it's quality. So he only supplies to your like more boutique, where you get the highest quality CBD. And for those listening in going, what the heck is CBD? Let's just have y'all Google it, because I'm not going to do it justice. And if you go look back, I did do an interview at Trulevia, and I'm hoping to have one coming up with Tejas Hemp to help kind of explain a little bit more about, what they're up to out there. But there is a few things from this harvest that just like really made my heart soar. I saw that Destination Dripping Springs participated, and I saw that our very own county commissioner, Walt Smith, participated in harvesting the hemp. And I think they're wrapping it up. If you want to reach out to them and go play farmer for a day, if they still have a need, I know they'll welcome you out, because they had acres to get into dry, and now it'll be turned into like other product. But I think it's just freaking exciting that
that's really cool
in this big old red state, and we're growing hemp and we're doing some cool things. It's pretty cool.
And I guess that kind of goes back to what everybody always talks about hemp as a really sustainable product, because it seems like they just planted that stuff in April or May.
I don't think it was that long ago.
Yeah. That's crazy that it was mature enough. And I don't think it's an annual. I think it stays. I mean, I think it'll overwinter and everything too. I could be wrong.
I honestly couldn't say. I mean, I'm a realtor, not a farmer, so don't get me.
You've seen my videos on pumpkin growing.
I have, friend.
Notice you haven't seen one in a while.
And for those that don't know, both Melinda, Trey Powers, and Chris are in a competition to grow the biggest pumpkin, and I think we already know how it's going to end.
I'm still growing mine. We'll just say that I'm still growing mine. Trey's in trouble.
and that's okay. I think you might be a better real estate agent than farmer too, friend.
I might be. I might be. It's
Um,
possible.
Also exciting here in town. We don't have a location yet, but we're getting a new food truck, and it's really hard for me to spit this out without stumbling over it. It's Dipping Springs Tinder Company. Say
Dipping
that 10 times.
Springs Tender Company.
Yeah, say that 10
Di-
times fast.
I got you. Dipping. Okay. Okay.
Dipping Springs Tinder Company. So,
Chicken tenders.
yes, yes. And if you know any 9-year-olds, that is their favorite food on the whole wide planet.
Denise is helping me out. No, Denise, I'm growing it. I'm not gonna go buy it. I'm growing it.
Well, actually, this would be a good time to mention that the pumpkin patch for the Methodist Church, it moved from the Triangle, and they're actually on the grounds of the
A
Methodist Church.
Methodist church. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Eric would pointed that out the other day.
Yeah, delivery happened over the weekend, and it looks like they're up and running to go get your pumpkins before Halloween.
That's in a week and a half. Wow.
Yeah.
12 days. 12 days till Halloween.
Do you and your wife celebrate Halloween? Are y'all like costume people?
Not really.
Go out?
So what we used to do when we were city folk, well, I mean, we always had I'm trying to say ice cream, and then pumpkins popped into mind. I'm sorry. We always had candy for the kids.
Uh-huh.
So what 3 or 4 of our neighbors always did is we would all get together in Erica and my driveway, and we would set our chairs up, and we all had our big bowls of candy that the kids would come, and they would be able to hit 4 houses just in our driveway. Well, the other thing that I had was a cooler behind me, and so I always had beverages for the parents, so it was adult trick-or-treating as well. A little bit harder to do that out where I am now, but that was a cool tradition. I think my neighbors still do it. I think they still get together in not our old driveway, but across the street, and I think they still have beer for the moms and dads and wine. So if you're in one of the big neighborhoods, I highly recommend it. People will come back year after year because they remember when you give them beer or wine.
Oh yeah, it's a great way to make friends. I think I've shared with you that my aunt she'd make wassail, and so the kids would trick or treat, and then the grown-ups could take wassail. I also live where we don't get trick or treaters, so I take my kiddo. Y'all, I go to the Texas Heritage Village right behind McDonald's, and oh God bless those people. They do it a big. You get to fill your bucket, get it done in 30 minutes. Happy mom, happy kiddo, happy dad. But this year, my husband and I decided we're going to go to the adult costume party out at 12 Fox on October 30th. So I'm super excited about that. And for those looking for an adult option, that is going down as well.
And the way I understand that, Stacy, if you're watching, feel free to chime in on this. The way I understand that is that they're going to have kind of some kids stuff earlier in the day, and then at about 8 o'clock, that's when it kind of becomes adult only at 12 Fox. And unfortunately, this year I'm going to miss it again. Not unfortunately, my nephew's getting married, so we're going to be out of town at a wedding, and that's going to be awesome. But one year I'm going to make the costume party and the festivities out there. So. And guys, we talk a lot about 12 Fox, but they're always doing something. Like
yes.
their goal is to try to have at least 2 events a month, if not more. So that's the reason they always come up. There's just there's just stuff to talk about out there. But
anyway. for sure, and I think they're just also fan favorites for you and I as well.
Oh, yeah.
So of course we're gonna make a visit out there. I believe on actual Halloween I saw a flyer for trunk or treating for the kiddos. With everything going on, I have no idea what trick or treating is gonna look like.
Yeah.
It'll be like get my kid dressed up, put him in the car, and let's go test the waters. This year he has an actual mask on, so I'm like, that's cool. We at least don't have to do that part.
There could be. We'll see. I wonder if we're going to see a lot of Bane and Darth Vader this year.
That's like the perfect one.
Yeah.
Like maybe steampunk will make a big resurgence with like those like little gas masks,
Yeah. Sorry, I'm pulling up See, this is pretty fun. See, you can talk, and I can insert links. So there's the link to Trunk or Treat from Destination Dripping Springs and 12 Fox, if you're
Thank
interested in that. Yeah, steampunk masks and costumes would be a good one this year.
Go back and link Tejas Hemp on
Okay.
Instagram and Dipping Springs Tinder Co. Company.
Dipping Springs, I forgot about that. Okay. Dipping Springs. Everybody's listening to me talk as I type because that's how I roll. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
Uh,
I won't ask you math questions though, so
that's
I'll
that's
keep it nice.
great. I could probably do math easier than I can type while I'm doing something else. Uh, I need to while I'm trying to do this. I need to talk about the shirt I'm wearing today, Miss Ashley.
You do. Let's talk about Drano.
Yeah. All right, guys. So this shirt, you can see a DC here on the front, and Dr. Brandon Drain, lifetime resident of Dripping Springs. Well, I guess until he left to go to school. Um, but Dr. Brandon Drain, he is my chiropractor. The man has bailed me out numerous times. Actually, back when we were in Leadership Drip, that's when I started going to him because I ended up throwing out my back bad, bad, bad. Guys, I couldn't get off the ground for like 7 or 8. I mean, I could not move for 7 or 8 hours. I won't go into how the logistics of all of that, but I could not move for 7 or 8 hours. It was horrible. And finally was able to make it over to see Drain, affectionately called Drano. He got me fixed up. I've been going to him ever since. My wife actually this summer messed up her back. She was going to see him. He's got her straightened out. Can't say enough. And probably one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Just, I mean, I, he makes you want to be a better person. He just does. So yeah, Denise is chiming in there. Yep, great guy.
I feel like what you're saying is instead of he bails you out, he keeps you in line.
He keeps me in line, something my mom could never do. Um, well, she straightened me out a few times with a belt, I guarantee that. But anyway, so yeah, guys, if
We
you
want to
need,
talk about like 90s corporal punishment. I know we talked about 90s parenting at the top of the show today.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say, what everybody else says when they grew up in the time that you and I did. I turned out fine, relatively. I've got some idiosyncrasies, but I guarantee butt whipping helped me out. But anyway, so there you go. If that's what I was trying to talk about. Some of us can keep you in line. Shelly, you've got no chance of keeping me in line, honey. Sorry about that.
That's funny.
But yeah, if you're looking for not only chiropractic with adjustment and stuff like that, but just you were talking about Tejas Hemp and Trulevia a while ago. A lot of people now are going more to holistic medicine and things like that. I mean, not talking to Dr. Drain about it, but I've done a lot of research back when I was a biology teacher and stuff like that. And there's a lot of people that swear about keeping your body in alignment for staying healthy. And I mean, I can say that I'm really not a sick person. I don't get
Mhm.
sick. And maybe that's one of the reasons because I continuously keep my back in line. So there you go.
Do you know who one of my favorite holistic healers is in town? I like to ask questions you can't answer.
I'll tell you who one of mine is.
Well, my favorite is Dr. Michelle Went of Indigo Healing and Acupuncture. She's the acupuncturist
Okay.
in town, and she is just that woman's a miracle worker and the sweetest gal around to boot as well. Like I would love to do like, could we just shove all of our favorite businesses in like one office suite, and then we can just like go down the line and visit them all
Let's do that.
in a row. It just makes sense. Like we can get Haley to get us our CBD goodies. We can go see Dr. Drain to get us in line. And then we can finish up with an acupuncture appointment with Dr. Went. Like, God, that would be the best day ever.
Little
Um,
massage. Shelly Williams. We could throw her in there. The massage. Yeah.
Exactly.
What did you say, Dr. Wentz? Is it indigo what?
Healing and acupuncture.
trying to pull that link up for people. There we go. Um, oh yeah. I mean, I've seen some of the posts on Facebook and stuff, but
Okay.
I don't guess I've ever really done acupuncture. I did it one time, a long time ago, more of just to use a session that was already purchased,
Okay.
and yeah, it was acupuncture. I don't know enough about it. I kind of went in, didn't really know what to expect, and got a bunch of needles in my back. Fell asleep on the table,
I think
and
that's a good thing.
I think it is, and woke up and I was pretty relaxed afterwards. So yeah, good stuff.
Yes, yes. We've been yip yapping for quite a while, so I know we need to sign off for the day. But before we do that, I noticed that the Dripping Springs Country Club is officially open,
It
and
is
it
open.
was like slamming packed when I
Yeah,
drove by yesterday. Of course, you're in your own little bay and at a distance and whatnot. So when I say slamming packed, I don't mean like
right.
side by side.
But the bays were full. I
Yeah.
noticed a lot of people out on the putting green,
Yes,
kind of putting around. See what I did there?
you did.
That was horrible. That was really bad. I do want to make one other comment before we go. I cheated on Dripping Springs for date night this week.
Where'd you go?
I've got a cousin and his wife live in Fredericksburg,
Okay.
so we met at Brian's on 290 in Johnson City. Have
Oh,
Have you ever eaten there?
no, I haven't. I tried the
Wow.
best chicken fried steak in all of Texas once, and I was like, meh, I don't know, at that like covered place. I've
I
been
don't
to
know.
Con Street,
Con
on
Street's
the
pretty
square.
good.
Yeah, nice and consistent.
Uh,
But if I'm that way, typically I end up at Old 300 in Blanco. I really, really like that spot. But no, I've
shoot,
never been to Brian's. Was it awesome?
it really was. Great food, kind of not an extensive menu. I mean, and it was, I would call it a, I mean, not like a real high end, but a higher end kind of. They had a nice steak, $39 tenderloin. That's kind of the top of the price point in there. Everything else was $20 to $30. And it smells like they cook. And I didn't do any research on it. I'm sorry. It smells like they do most of their stuff on open wood fire, because I had the pork tenderloin and it had a smoke flavor and it was off the charts. Erica had shrimp and grits that were really, really good.
Ooh.
Cousin had schnitzel that he said was really good. They had the gnocchi side, and oh, the probably the best thing of the night was their Brussels sprouts. They did some kind of, I don't even know what kind of sauce it was with the Brussels sprouts, and had giant pieces of bacon in it. And I don't mean bacon, I mean like pork belly, giant pieces.
Everything's better with bacon, if you ask.
Well, yeah. But anyway, if you've eaten everything in Dripping Springs and you want to like get out a little bit, I go to Johnson City. That's good. It's real
I
good.
believe you and Erica let the cat out of the bag that they're getting ready for some holidays there.
Yeah, randomly we show up and we're like, all of the PEC lights are on, and they were still putting them up. The guy was just finishing up, but he had probably 98% of the lights up, and they were all on, so he could see what he was doing because it was
Oh,
night.
cool. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was us, and there were like two or three other couples that had kind of wandered in and up. But yeah, so I'm good for my PEC light viewing this year. I don't have to go back. Good.
It's tradition in my house.
Ours too.
But insider information, my mama retired from PEC after like, I don't know, 25 years, 30 years, not quite 30, between 25 and 30. And Johnson City was her home base. So
Oh, okay.
I have definitely been checking those lights out since I was like 5 years old.
Back before they were LEDs and before they had blue ones.
Yep. Yep. And I always thought like, well, if those guys can do that, my husband can do that. It's a lot harder than you would think. And they
Poor
don't have
John.
their staff doing that. They're hiring that stuff out, y'all. So just so you know, they get professionals that they bring in to do that. So
Yeah, and the guy that was putting them up, and I saw two or three machines, so I'm sure there were multiple people doing it. But he was on one of these lifts that probably goes 70 or 80 feet in the air and just kind of back and forth in the trees. And just have fun, man.
no
It's
fear at all.
crazy. No fear. No fear. But But all right, you ready to wrap it up?
I think so. You want to take us out of here since I signed
Yeah,
it?
absolutely, guys. Thanks for joining us again. Ashley Tullis with the Bond team at Keller Williams and Chris Pesek, Dripping Springs home team at Jackson Properties. If you need to know anything about Dripping Springs, if you've got questions about stuff that might be coming in, going on, need a recommendation for a restaurant or an acupuncturist, feel free to reach out to us. I forgot to put the banner up. Shoot. Is that the right one? There we go.
Woo!
There's our phone numbers.
Look at us with our tech, y'all. We're getting better every time.
That's right. See, if y'all haven't noticed, these things up in the corner. I figured out how to do that, and so we're all fancy now. You can see our logos. But anyway, if you need to know anything about Dripping Springs, feel free to reach out. We are very much community enthusiasts, like Ashley likes to say, and love everything about Dripping Springs. So that's the reason we do this, and hopefully we will see you guys next Monday at 2:00.
Yep. See you then. Thanks. Toodaloo.
Bye, guys.